Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So today we're doing August 2019, but this reading will hold you in good stead for any other Augusts, like August 2020, 21 and all the rest of it. And even if you just come across this video and feel pulled towards one of the particular readings, you can still listen to it and it will apply for the next 4 weeks ahead of you. So remember that this is a general reading. I'm not going into any specifics, so you just have to take what resonates with you and leave the rest aside if it doesn't. So we've got option 1, option 2, option 3 and option 4. I will put the timestamps in the comment section and in the description box, and also in the description box is all the information that you need in regards to links to the decks, my Instagram, and all the information you need if you wanted to get a private reading with me. So now I want you to get in a calm state of mind. I know a few of you say, oh, can you put like crystals or something to signify the different decks, but I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to look with your eyes or to focus on a particular crystal or anything. I want you to use your intuition, and your intuition doesn't look at the actual decks, it just thinks about what the cards say, and so you're using your intuition to find the most relevant deck for you. So trust your guts, and the way you can do that is by taking a few deep breaths, relaxing your body and emptying your mind. Empty your mind of all your expectations, all your desires, all of your fears. Take them all, clump them together, and then let them float up through the top of your head and let them rest up at the top of the ceiling. You don't need them. A few deep breaths in and out. Just get calm and relaxed. And when you feel ready, ask yourself the question, what is ahead for me in August? If you need a little bit more time to do that, then please press pause, and when you've made your choice, click on the timestamp and I shall see you there at your reading. Okay, those of you that chose option 1, this is your reading, your August 2019. So we'll start off with the moon, and that's cycles, candles, magic, the 3 of Swords, and the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so you've got an important month ahead of you. I mean, every month's important because it's a month that we live, but you're definitely going to have a domination of feelings in August. A lot of you are ending a cycle and beginning another one. That's why we've got the moon. So this could be something like a birthday, because we have got the candles, you know, birthday candles blowing off the cake, but it could be just something else that's going on in your life where you you just recognize that maybe you've outgrown something, that you've come to the end of something and it's time to do something new. So it might be something, I mean, August is an obvious example of a lot of, well, in the UK anyway, but that, you know, it's definitely a month when you're not at school, and so a lot of you might have finished formal education and you're at the stopgap before you actually start maybe going to higher education in September, October. You know, it's definitely, August is a holiday month where people sort of relax and stock take of their lives, and I feel that you might be doing that. There is there's going to be not a dominance, but there's going to be more, you're going to be more emotional because it's the moon, and the moon reflects emotions. It reflects femaleness, femininity, womanhood, being a woman. And so you might find that that's more important to you in August, that somehow that's a part of the cycle, or just, you know, just important to you in somehow, being a woman, or how you're seen as a woman, or how you are as a woman, or something like that. But this is really important, this part. You've got to control your emotions. You can't allow them to dominate you. We all have to feel, we all have to have emotions, and we all have to put importance on them, but not to the point that it ruins everything else in our life. It can't be to the detriment, and especially of everybody else's life. We've all been, you know, enthralled to someone who is hysterical and they can't control themselves, and they're overwhelmed with their emotions and disrupt everything. And we must always have compassion. So have compassion and kindness and tenderness for yourself if you feel that this is, you know, yeah, I can see why I'm going to be in an emotional state. But you can't allow it to overwhelm you. So I'm going to say some of you are really in a danger of that. You know, this card, Three of Swords, isn't about heartbreak. It's about controlling your emotions. So like courage. If you're really, really frightened, fear is an emotion, it's a feeling. But then you say, right, I'm not going to stop, you know, I'm not going to allow fear to control me. I'm going to control the fear and move on and do, you know, I'm going to jump out of that aeroplane. I'm going to do that bungee jump. I'm going to go off and go for that job interview that I'm really nervous about. You know, it's about accepting that you do feel something, but that it's not the most important thing. Because I just feel that a lot of you, that there's a real risk of allowing your emotions to blind something in your life, that you can't see something important, or you can't see the other things going on in your life because of an emotion. And I feel it's connected to the end of a cycle, that there's something ending, you know, most likely within you, that there's just a movement forward. And what's really important here, this is an important reading, you've got an important month ahead of you, is that you have great powers of manifestation. This candles is talking about the magic within you to create. And this really tells me that in August you must start as you mean to go on. If you are starting a new cycle, you're beginning a new era in your life, you must think, what do I want? What type of person do I want to be? Do I want to be a confident, strong person who is not intimidated by new things and new people or different people to me? If you can say, yes, I do want to be that, I want to be self-confident and I want to be in control of my own life, and I'm willing to let other people be in control of theirs. If you can move forward and do that, you will have all that life has to offer for you. But it's really telling me that you have the power to manifest what you want in terms of your life. And so you must look at it in a balanced way. You can't go and only listen to your emotions. You have to look at the logical side as well. The facts and the figures, the empirical evidence around your life, and interpret it in a rational, calm way. Because I just feel that there's a real possibility that you're just going to follow your heart, but your head is screaming, no, 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 what about this? And it's really telling me that, you know, if you go too far in one direction over the other, you know, you don't want to go too far into the logic and ignore your emotional gut instinct about it. You need a balance between the two. If you go for one over the other, you really are going to manifest based on that. So this is why you always have to be completely sure about what you want. The actions that we take have consequences. And the Seven of Pentacles is telling me that it's now time, you need this balanced judgment, because it's now time to decide whether to harvest or to leave the crop on the branches to ripen a bit more. You know, the investment's been made, the crop has been tended, but now it's the time, it's in a way decision time. You know, for some of you, you're going to say, yes, it's time to reap the rewards of my efforts and move on. And others of you are going to think it's not quite time yet. There's a little bit more growth that needs to go in here. They're not quite ready to be picked, and that's fine. But this is why you need to be balanced between your mind and your feelings. It's more important here in August than it is, you know, in other readings that I might give. I always recommend that anyway, because it's a good mindset to live in. But it's essential in the month ahead for you to do that, because you have immense powers of manifestation, and if you end up manifesting the wrong thing, you're sort of stuck with it, and it'll take a lot more time and effort to unravel that and get yourself back in the place that you wished you'd had been. So if you give yourself some time and space to feel what you feel, you know, and then think about what you need. Yeah, really, it's balance between emotions and your head, and you need that in August more than ever. So those of you that chose option 1, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comment section, like and subscribe and all the rest of it. If you did want to book a private reading with me, you can. All the information that you need is in the description box, so just check there. Otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 2, this is your reading. What does August have in store for you? So we start off with a spell, manifestation, that's good. Oh, cauldron containment, okay. 6 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles, okay. Right, so I think that this August is dominated more by your career and your assets, your money, your tangible security in your life. So your things, your stuff, your house, your home. Pentacles are the earth, the elements, to do with what we have and how they provide us with security. And that's a physical security as well as emotional security. Yeah. So first of all, you have great powers of manifestation in August, which is good. What the card is saying is be careful what you wish for. Be absolutely clear when you are, you know, visualizing what you want, that you're making plans for and imagining what you want and summoning it, or it, you know, taking action to make it a reality, like going for a promotion or asking for a pay rise. You have to be absolutely sure that you're asking for what you really want, because you have such powers of manifestation. It's easy to accidentally manifest the negativity instead of the positivity that you really want. So don't allow yourself to slip into any negative mindsets. It's really easy to slip into thinking like a negative thought about someone. We all do it. I do it, where I just think, oh, I'd love to kill you, you know, if I could get my hands on you. But, you know, I always stop myself. I always think, no, it's perfectly normal to have that reaction, but I don't want to get into that mindset of negativity and wanting vengeance, or, you know, not being a particularly nice person, because what you think and what you say, you know, are an indicator of who you are. And I don't want to be like that, and I imagine most of you don't want to be like that either. So if you find yourself slipping into a negative mindset, or you know, an unhelpful mindset, you know, yeah, it's going to be your first thought, but then you stop yourself and think, no, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to think those things. What I really want is, and then expressing even in your mind, just this is what I want, in a more balanced and calm way. But yeah, you absolutely have real powers of manifestation, you know, writing the spells and coming out with them. It's just you're visualizing and going after what you want. But it's really telling you, you have to absolutely make sure that this is what you want, because of the power that you have sort of throughout August. Because you don't have all the information. You don't have all the information. What that is depends on what's going on in your life, but the cauldron is containing the spell, is containing the potion. It's not floating out everywhere, it's stuck and it's trapped in the air above it. So you don't know everything. There's something that's contained. You might be containing something, you might not be telling everybody your plans or whatever, but it's also saying that you don't have all the information. So really the advice here is to contain and control what it is that you are trying to manifest until you've got all the information you need. I mean, I've explained many times, I'm really not much of an astrologer, but you can't be interested in what I'm interested in terms of tarot and spirituality, without being aware that at this moment in time and through part of August we have a Mercury retrograde. And a lot of people believe that it really influences them and influences their life. So Mercury is about information. So just be aware that for some of you, if you believe in astrology and Mercury retrogrades, that it might impact you, in that not that something's been purposefully held back from you. Don't attribute malice to things that might be caused by stupidity. I can't remember if that's the exact phrase, but that's the gist of it. So there's just something that you just don't know. Maybe there's a piece of information that you'll get even in September that you or like the month after, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I waited before I put this thing into action, because that bit of extra information has really improved my chances of something. So yeah, it's saying just be careful of what you're trying to manifest, because you don't have all the information. There's going to be a focus on balancing your economy, basically. So 6 of Pentacles, it's balancing between having enough so that you can support yourself and having a little bit extra that you can donate to charity. It's about being altruistic. So you might have an opportunity to be kind to someone and support them in some way and give them a small financial gift. Obviously, always the message with charity is that charity begins at home, which means that you should always make sure you're well provided for and that you have all your needs met before you consider satisfying the needs of someone else. Because it's no use wearing yourself down and wearing yourself thin so that you can't sustain your own life and take care of the people that are closest to you. If you give away all your money, how are you going to pay your bills? But having a little bit extra at the end of the month and thinking, well, I'll donate it to charity, or literally somebody around you needs a bit of support, maybe needs you to go and get them some food, get some shopping in or something. But there's definitely a case of balancing your money. So as well, beyond that, don't spend too much. Only spend what you've got to spend. And unfortunately, sometimes we all have a month where it's literally bills, food, and nothing else. You haven't got any money to go out with your friends or to splash away on everything. There's something gone wrong and you just have to pay for something to be repaired or whatever. And that you might find that that's for you in August, is that you don't have the money to splash out. But that's all right. There will be other months where you come into some money and you can splash out. That's the way I look at it. And you're clearly a person that can manifest, so don't worry about it. 9 of Pentacles, this is the independent woman card. So I don't think, for those of you that are attracted to number 2, that if you're really thinking, oh, I wanted a love reading, I'm not sure that, from my perspective anyway, in terms of this reading, that you're going to have anything big in terms of love come along. I think you're just going to be working, ticking over in your life, in your career, thinking and planning and trying to get this bit of information that you seem to be missing. It talks about being alone and sort of doing your own thing alone. She's there playing the piano, but I mean, the empty seat is next to her, so somebody else could easily sidle in and start playing the piano with her. But at the moment, she's fine on her own. She's not too fussed about finding anyone else. She can manage to play the tunes that she wants to play on her piano on her own. So for some of you, I think there's going to be a contentment in your solitude, in your aloneness. So you won't be lonely, but you'll just be enjoying your alone time. So some of you, if you've been really desiring a bit of time on your own, a bit of me time, there's a good chance that you're going to get it, or at least if you work towards it, you can have that peaceful time alone to even do a hobby. Do something creative, but it's about being self-sufficient. So I don't think that you're going to be, whoa, sorry, that's the bunny rabbit made me jump. Oh dear. I don't think you're going to be starving poor in August. I think you'll just have enough for what you need to be independent. So you'll have enough to perhaps pay your bills, but not much left over. But that's, as I say, that's not a terrible month. A bad month is when you really don't have enough on you to pay the bills and get enough food, and you have to make painful decisions. Those are the worst months. So yeah, I don't think you've got a bad month ahead of you. It's just a case of you have super duper manifesting powers. So before you really commit yourself to trying to manifest what you want by, you know, going for another job or traveling, going somewhere, it's to do with finances. So before you make any try to make any money or spend any money, make sure absolutely you have all the information that you can possibly get. And if you have an inkling that you haven't got all the information, then don't try and manifest and make into reality your thing. Because a bit later on, you might find out something that you'd wished you'd had that information beforehand, because otherwise you wouldn't have gone ahead with a plan. You know, that's the way I interpret it. So those of you that chose option 2, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and all the rest of the things that YouTubers ask you to do. If you want a private reading with me, you can get one. All the information you need is in the description box, so just give it a read through and then send me an email. Otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 3, this is your reading. What does August hold for you? So we start off with Magic Circle Protection, Watchtower of the East, which represents spring. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles. I like that. And the Magician, brilliant. Now this is weird because this is the 3rd reading I've had where a card that represents manifestation. So I mean, again, I was had to say in the other readings, I don't know anything about astrology, but it sort of brings to mind that maybe there's something going on in August, and maybe that's astrologically. So let me know in the comments if my ignorance of astrology has led me to miss something, because if there is something important, although it's not my bag, baby, it's not my thing, I will do a reading on it for those of you that do find this interesting and want to know how something's going to impact you, because it's just the 3rd time. I don't, you know, sometimes I get sort of common themes throughout a particular reading, but this is the 3rd time out of 4 readings that I've had a card that represents manifestation. So let me know. All right, let's move on with your reading. You're not going to have a terrible month at all. But what it's saying in the first card that's come through, if you can hear lots of noises, the bunny rabbits are in with me, and they've been very good and quiet, but now they're starting to be a bit noisy, drinking water and stuff, so don't let it distract you. So Magic Circle Protection, you've got to protect yourself over something, really. And that's not, I'm not going to say that there's someone around you that has ill intent. I'm not saying that at all. That way of thinking doesn't get you anywhere. Encouraging paranoia in yourself is self-destructive. Don't do it. But what it's saying is that maybe you need to be a bit more protective over yourself. We all have a responsibility for ourselves. You know, it's personal responsibility is something you must acquire in your life, because you know, we're all responsible for our own choices, our own actions, the things that we do. And in the same way, when things are done to us, the other person is responsible. But we're responsible for the things that we do. So there's something in August where it's saying to you, think twice about what you're doing. And it's as well because of your powers of manifestation. In August, you know, you've got to think, what danger does it, you know, I want to take this course of action, I want to go for a job, and maybe this new job is in another city, you know, not an uncommon thing, or it's a new job that offers lots of opportunities like a pay increase and offers a promotion, but what are the downfalls to going for this job? You know, it's always about looking towards the light. It's about not being selfish and not being negative or dark. It's about looking to the light and being protective over yourself. Right, I just paused it so I could put the rabbits in another room so they can play noisily in there and not disrupt us. Right, So you've got to protect you. There's some element of protection here about, and it's to do with the mind and what you're doing. So it's doing things for the right reasons, and not being selfish and all the rest of it. But this is encouraging you to be creative. So I don't know whether there's a creative opportunity here. It's like putting pen to paper and allowing the growth of new spring to come at you. And I know this is like for August, but it doesn't mean literally spring. It means the spring within you. And maybe this is why you need to be a bit protective. Maybe you're slightly vulnerable at this time due to this feeling of wanting to start something. You know, maybe what you want to do is a bit risky. That's just come to me. Maybe what you want to do is a bit risky. It's going to get you a bit of attention. So you need to mentally prepare yourself in advance and have that protective shield around you. In terms of if any negativity comes to you, like people are being mean, and people can be mean, particularly online, of, you know, saying, okay, they're going to be mean, they're going to say things, but is it really valid? You know, if there's a criticism where saying, well, you made this mistake and that really stood out to me, but I like the rest of it, it's just this little thing and I think that you're going to come on leaps and bounds. They're not being mean, they're giving constructive criticism, and that's so valuable, you know, as a creative person. But when they say, well, I didn't like what you did because I'd do it like this, you just ignore them. You know, it's always listen when somebody tells you when there's something wrong with what you're creating. Never listen to them when they tell you how to fix it. Fix it for yourself. So, you know, there might be something that you're going to do that's actually creatively valuable, but there's going to be other people that want to, you know, stick their oar in and have something to say. And you need to protect yourself against that. You know, take advice that allows you to nurture and grow as a person or as a creative person. But don't allow it to change your fundamental style or your ambition. Don't let it be diluted. You're going to have a focus on, you know, money and family. So this is the well-supported family. It's a family that has everything they need. They're secure, that you know, they've got their home, they've got enough food in the cupboard, they've got enough money to buy the things that they need. They're in no sense of want. They're completely stable in their life. So I think that you actually have a lot of family stability over August, that you're not going to have anything happening terribly in terms of your family, or that you're just going to be really focused on getting this. Maybe you're in a phase of your life that you would like to start a family, that you are ready to settle down, buy a house, you know, find someone to marry, or if you're already with someone that you're thinking about starting a family, or, you know, even getting a pet if you don't want to have children. But you're really, it's sort of moving towards the stability of family if you haven't got it already. And if you have, that, you know, nothing, you know, it's going to be your focus, which, you know, August, it's summertime, it's a time for people to go away on holiday a lot. The kids are usually off school, you know, and you're just going to be at, you know, spending time with the family because you have the time in the summer to do it. So yeah, maybe that's what you need to protect yourself over the stress of having the kids around the house instead of at school. Make sure you have your time alone where you can sort of say, okay, mummy or daddy, I need to go off now. Mummy needs to be on her own for a bit, for 5 minutes. Daddy needs to be on his own for a bit. But you have amazing powers of manifestation. The Magician, I mean, here the card looks different, but ultimately it's somebody who's putting themselves out there and showing the world what they've got, using all of their skills to show what they have got. You know, this Magician is really focused on this greeny ball, whatever it is, but is aware on his wings that he has all the other skills of the suits at hand. So you have all the skills that you need. I think in terms of this creativity, it's just now time for you to move forward and do it. But being aware that the haters are going to hate, that they're going to say negative things, and to not let it destroy you or hurt you. Because what you're doing, I feel for a lot of you, what you're doing is actually going to lead to this family security. That it's going to lead you onto the path of being in that happy family that's well provided for and happy and not in any kind of want. So that's beautiful. I really like that. It's a really nice monthly reading. you just got to protect what your ambitions are, and protect your emotions, I feel, some weird way. But, or your sense of ego, don't let it demolish who you are. So for those of you that chose option 3, that's your reading. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Oh, if you want to book a private reading with me, you can. All the information's in the description box. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this one, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 4, this is your reading. What does August have in store for you? So let's start off with Wand, and that's intention. Handfasting union. King of Swords and Page of Swords. Okay, so I was mentioning this in number 3, so if you're just the type of person that likes to listen to all the readings, accept my apologies at the repetition, but this is now the 4th reading I've had for August. All 4 readings had something to do with what you manifest. So I said that before with number 3, I said I have no real knowledge of astrology. I did dip into it, but I'm you know, it wasn't my thing. I'm not like dismissing it or anything, but for me it didn't resonate, it didn't make sense. Tarot does, and charms do. I do charm readings as well, but I do know that there's like a Mercury retrograde, so I don't know whether that's relevant. I don't see how it would be, but is there something going on astrologically in August? Because I do not keep up with these things. If that is the case, that it could be like resonating with this sense that all of them have had cards about manifesting. But if there is something going on and you want me to do a reading, I'm more than happy to do a reading on this specific thing that's happening in August, because it clearly, for the people that like to watch my videos, it resonates. So Wand, intention. You have to make sure that your intentions are secure and sound, that what you intend to do is what you actually do. You know, there's a lot of things that happen that are bad in the world that come as a result of good intentions, that people believe they're doing the right thing, but actually they end up doing something very, very wrong indeed, because they haven't thought it through. They haven't looked at the issue from all angles. They only look at it from one point of view, one person's point of view, or one, you know, group of people's point of view, and they don't look at it thinking of how it's going to impact everybody. You know, like somebody in a family might say, I'm going to do this because it's good for me, and they ignore the impact it has on the rest of the family, and it causes heartache. So you've got to be absolutely sure that what you're doing is the right thing, and that it's going to actually lead you to where you want it to go. This is the power of manifestation. This is why I always say that what you think is what you get. So you've got to absolutely make sure that you're doing what you want. You can't allow interference from anybody else, nobody else's opinion. You know, you listen to them, you think about them, especially if what you're doing is going to impact them, and you evaluate how important the impact this thing has on them, and how it's going to impact your life. And for a lot of you, it's to do with getting married, because we've got the handfast union. So everybody has an opinion when it comes to someone else's wedding. You know, relatives you haven't seen since you were christened, your parents insist they've got to come to the wedding, and you're like, I don't know who that person is. Look, there's a photo of them holding you as a baby, and suddenly, you know, it's £70 a head, you know, meal for these people that you've never met for the past 30 years or something. You know, the horror stories I've heard about people's weddings, it's unbelievable. But anyway, you've got to make sure that you get the wedding you want, that you get the union that you want, and not the wedding that everybody else wants, because you're never going to please everybody else. But when you have the wedding you want, it's your day, most likely you're paying for it. It's the beginning of your marriage, the establishing of your union, and it's nobody else's business. You know, somebody might come up with a great idea for a band for your wedding, and you listen to the music and it's fabulous and you book them, that's fine. But if they insist you book their friends because their friends are in a band and you listen and they're just terrible, and you think, I can't have them at my wedding, you've got to stand your ground and say, I don't want that band at my wedding. You know, that's the look. This is the intention, not allowing other people. If you're not even at that stage of being in a couple and it's a marriage, I think there's a lot of you that like someone, and you're possibly thinking that this person maybe other people aren't going to like. You're thinking, I like them, but you're listening to other people's voices when it comes to this potential union, to this sort of person that you might end up marrying if it went that way. You know, some of you might just want to ask this person out, that's fine. You can hear my bunny rabbit chewing. I'm sorry about that. So, yeah, I just feel that for a lot of you, there's somebody you like, but you're not doing anything about it because of the opinions of others. Well, fair enough, you have free will to choose. You know, maybe there's a reason why, you know, you're thinking, oh, my friends and family wouldn't, you know, what would they think if I went out with this person? But at the end of the day, it's your life. And if you like this person, you've got to at least try. And at the end of the day, it's if you want to be with this person, everybody else around you is going to have to accept that. Because if your intentions are to have a marriage, to have a happy family and have a happy marriage, and to unify with to be in union with somebody, there's nothing wrong with that, but you've got to make sure it's with the person you want and in the way that you want, you know. For some of you, it's about the union of the self, because it's about unifying two aspects of yourself. For some of you. But you've got to be sure that what you're doing is going to leave you happy with yourself, because, you know, when you're in two minds about something and you're in two emotions, it's because we're usually doing something that deep down we're not happy about. We're compromising our values, and compromising your values is not a bad thing, by the way. But sometimes when you compromise your values too much beyond your limit, we start to have dislike for ourselves, even to the point of self-hatred, because we deep down we know that we're doing things that we don't feel are right. So you have to be aware of that you are doing what you intend to do, that you are doing what you feel is right, and that you're not separating important aspects of yourself and putting yourself, you know, dividing yourself between, I have to please others but I also want to please myself. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to say no to people, you know, I have to do what I feel is right for me, and you have to accept that. And it's an important month, August, because I think in order to do that, you have to balance out your emotions and go into King of Swords energy. King of Swords represents being logical. It's like removing emotion from the equation. I mean, I never recommend completely doing that, because that's how you end up doing things that you ultimately regret, because you go against what your gut's telling you and what your feelings tell you is the right thing to do. You need a balance between the two. But for some reason, the cards are absolutely the same for August, that in some way you have to remove your emotions from it and go on pure logic. This is like the judge in a court of law card. The judge cannot have any bias. He cannot allow his feelings to get in the way of doing good, just judgment. He must look at the law, look at the case in front of him, look at the law, and check the facts. He can't make a judgment of, I feel that you did this, so I'm going to convict you, send you to prison for a long time. He has to look at the evidence. If the evidence is not there, he cannot secure a conviction. So it's saying again about making sure you have all the information, all the facts, and that you are looking at them rationally and in an intelligent way, and not allowing your emotions to overwhelm you. So this, in a way, reminds me again of the wedding. Let's use that as an example, because I think you understand it. Is that if you're being put under emotional pressure to have the type of wedding that makes your parents happy or your partner's parents happy or something, and it's going against you, you have to harden up to the emotional impact, you know. sometimes relatives can be awful, you know, parents can be awful, and they really emotionally blackmail you to get what they want. They're not even aware that they're doing it because they've spent their entire life, you know, convincing you not to eat mud and run out into the street when there's an oncoming car. You know, so they're just ingrained in an attitude that you're a kid and they know better. But you have to stand your ground and say, look, these are the facts. I'm the one getting married. I'm the one paying for it. And I'm the one that makes the decisions. And I'm sorry it upsets you, but this is it. You have to focus on your logic a lot in August for some reason, in some way of your life. And Page of Swords, it's about what you're going out to say. It's about going out with a message. It's revealing a secret, revealing a truth. You know, this lovely figure here, this lovely Page of Swords, see if I can get the camera to focus, is holding a little cygnet, a little baby swan, and nurturing it. And it's representative of the truth. It's nurturing a truth. This is it. The truth is revealing a secret. So there's something going on that you're not talking about, because I think your intentions are sound. I think you don't want people to be hurt, and it's something to do with a union of something or with someone. But you just got to sort of say, harden yourself up to it and say, this is what I want. You got to come out with the message. You got to come out and say what you want, what your intentions are, what your plans for the future are, what your plans for your wedding is, if that's actually true for you. You don't have to be getting married in August, by the way. You could be getting married in a year's time. But, you know, a lot of weddings take forever to plan. So I've observed. So, yeah, you got to be speaking the truth, because of what you've got to be sure what your intentions are, and that you are not influenced by other people's intentions for you. Because if you're a bit passive and you're sort of not keen to make a decision, there are plenty of people that sense that void and they come forward and try and make that decision for you. But you don't want that. You want to be making your own decisions and living your own truth. And, you know, you don't want to cause a fissure in your family, so you don't want to be mean or nasty about it, but you've just got to be honest and truthful and firm and say, this is the way that it is. So, I mean, if you are getting married, good luck for the wedding. If you're planning on getting married, save money now, it's so expensive. But yeah, make sure what you're doing is for the right reasons, because it's what you want. And don't stop yourself from doing something or force yourself to do something you don't want to do because of the opinions of others. You have to do it because it's the right thing for you, that you're living your truth and speaking your truth, and you know it's the right thing for you because it falls in line with what your intentions are for the rest of your life. And it's definitely something to do with a union. I'm going to say for most of you, it's something to do with the union of someone that you're attracted to, that you like, that you want to marry, or even that you want to one day marry, and you're opening up yourself up in a different way to meeting someone. But there needs to be a focus on being sensible about it. So that's your reading. If you want a private reading with me, you can buy one. All the information you need is in the description box. Otherwise, I'll leave you with that. Please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye.